Now, all of these things that I've just talked about, personalization, experiences, retargeting, these are not binary things. It's not that people like them or don't like them. And so it's really important for us to understand privacy personas. Frankly, I just got really tired of people telling me that all millennials don't care about their privacy, and I knew it wasn't true. And so I actually worked with our data sciences team back in 2015 to start to look at privacy attitudes and behaviors within our data set and expand our data set and build a set of profiles and segments to help us understand what do consumers really care about. And so there are 4 variables that really drive these models. It's their willingness to share more personal information, whether that's for discounts or loyalty points. It's their awareness of privacy issues. Do they read privacy policies? Are they aware of the data economy? Then their comfort with the data economy. How okay are they with that data selling and sharing? And then finally, privacy protective behaviors. Do they use tools to protect themselves online? Do they block information sharing on their devices? What are the tools that they're using, and how many of them do they use? We found over time that we really had 5 primary segments. We started out with 4, but now we have 5 of them, and I'll give you a little picture of each of these for 2020. 17% of online consumers in the U.S. are what we call conditional consumerists. They are tech-savvy, and they love to shop. These folks are on social media, they love being on social media, and they're very active there. 93% of them are enrolled in multiple loyalty programs, and they are willing to share that information about themselves for a really wide range of perks. These folks love to feel special. They like special experiences. They like being able to see early releases on products. And they say that technology is important to their lifestyle. 68% of them say that, in fact. Now, they're very privacy aware, and 39% of them are actually willing to share their information only if they can find a place to opt out as well. 31% of them use private browsing, and they are the most likely of our 5 segments to use ad blocking and do not track settings. So these are a really rich source of insight. These are consumers that everyone really wants to be targeting, but are we treating them the right way from a privacy perspective and giving them the right options? Now, the reckless rebels, these were the folks that everyone was like, oh, they're all going to be millennials. Well, here's the thing. They were kind of right. Reckless rebels represent 26% of the online population, and they are easily the youngest segment. So 47% of them are under the age of 35, and nearly 14% are students. They are the second least savvy about the data economy. But even here, these consumers only think, only about a third of them think that cross-device tracking that I told you about a little bit ago, only a third of them are comfortable with that and think it's okay. They take relatively few measures to protect their privacy, and frankly, this cavalier attitude actually leaves them open to some risk, right? We know that some of this segment, particularly the student segment, they actually do migrate to other segments when they have a life stage event, when they have a kid, or when they go out and get their first piece of big credit. But that doesn't mean that we should treat them as though they're always going to be open to sharing their data. Some number of these, for sure, are resigned to the genie has left the bottle, I can't recover my privacy, that ship has sailed. But those consumers who do migrate, we have to be constantly building trust with them. Our third segment are what we call the data-savvy digitals, and they represent about a little over a fifth of the online population. They are pragmatic. They are a little bit older, 47 is their median age, and they're very privacy protective. This segment is the second most privacy aware, and only 6% of them think that it's okay for companies to share or sell their personal information. They like tech, but they're not early adopters. Only about a fifth of them use a smartwatch, and about a quarter of them use a smart speaker. And that's slightly lower than the U.S. national average for these folks. The difference between these guys and the conditional consumerists, who are also very privacy protective and also very savvy of the data economy, is that only 28% of these will share more personal information for points and perks. That's compared to 50% of the conditional consumerists. So these look very similar to the conditional consumerists. They are just a little bit more reserved in their willingness to share data and a little bit more willing to protect their privacy and use tools online. These are the folks who basically say, listen, I know that I have to be part of the digital economy, and I know that's going to take some data sharing, and so I'm begrudgingly going to go ahead and share it. Now, the nervous unawares are, you kind of have to really feel sorry for them. They represent about 13% of the population. They're concerned, but they're the least educated about the data economy and the least tech savvy. They're concerned about their privacy in the post-digital world. They don't know how to protect themselves. They are the least affluent segment, and they don't, many of them still don't use a smartphone, 12%. In the U.S., that's a really big number. A third of these folks aren't even aware of the privacy tools that we survey them about. We give them a list of all of the different forms of privacy protection tools that are out there, and a third of them say, I don't even know about any of these. The irony is that these folks tell us that they aren't willing to share personal information under any circumstances or for any perks. So they just don't know how much is happening in the background. And our last segment are the skeptical protectionists. And I suspect that we have a few of those in our audience today. This is about a quarter, 23% of the U.S. population. They're the oldest segment, but they're super digital savvy and they're super security conscious, which is different from privacy conscious. They're the largest share of boomers, most likely to be married, and, they're the folks who came up with the Internet, right? They're the folks whose first careers or who first used the Internet in their professional lives, maybe possibly in their college careers, but the majority of them would have used the Internet for the first time in their careers. And they are just really protective, most likely to take measures to prevent data collection, right? So the most likely to use the technologies that are available to them, the phone and device settings that are available to them. 58% of them don't trust anyone to keep their information secure, hence the security consciousness. They learned and heard more about identity protection and identity theft than any other segment. And get this, 53% of them have never used a smartphone to pay for products or services. That's a huge number given how digitally savvy they actually really are. So this is the segment that we need to really pay attention to because, let's be honest, they have disposable income and your marketers are targeting them.